Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to welcome you in our special program, Thames Speaks, and that's on MATV 711. Every week we discuss different ideas, we discuss with different people, those who are experts from their own field, or social reformers, or spiritual people, or political people. They come and they share their own experience with us. That experiences enriches us. That experience also helps our audience to develop their own thoughts and sharpen their thoughts. Once, Osho has written a beautiful thing, and he said, one thing you have to walk and create the way by your walking. You will not find a ready-made path. It is not so cheap to reach to the ultimate realization of truth. You will have to create the path by walking yourself. The path is not ready-made, lying there and waiting for you. It is just like the sky, the birds fly, but they don't leave any footprints. You cannot follow them. There are no footprints left behind. I think he has summarized the philosophy from the Eastern world that everyone has to create their own pathway. We met a lot of people, those who has created their own pathway, and finally they realize the ultimate truth. So it is our great fortune that we meet different type of people, those who are on this pathway, those who are in the process to realize the ultimate truth of human life, and those who are acting to help other human beings so they can also realize the ultimate aim of human life. So today we have a special guest, and she is Global Ambassador of Mohanji Foundation. She is also President of X Foundation, Director of ERYT, and she is also Director of Himalayan School of Traditional Yoga. I would like to introduce and welcome our guest, Devi Mohanji. Deviji, welcome to this program today, and it's great to have you in this Thames Speaks program today.
Thank you, Jalal.
We have discussed a lot of things in the past, but I think this is an opportunity for all of us that our audience will also benefit from your expertise and your experience. I think a lot of people, when they talk about spirituality, when they think about Eastern philosophy, normally they expect someone from the Eastern country, someone from India will come, and then they will try to share their experience. It's rare when people see people from Europe or America or Canada that they will come and then they will share their expertise with all of us. And it's this is an interesting thing, because once God said, Sabe Bhumi Gopal Ki, means the whole land belongs to the God. And I think God belongs to everyone equally. So today we will start our discussion, but before that, quickly, I really want to know about your childhood, your personal experience which you have experienced, and finally I want to reach to the next stage, that how those experiences shaped you and pushed you to adopt and to accelerate your own life in this spiritual pathway.
Yes, well, in short, I don't define myself by any of the roles I play, by any titles. I simply am someone who is, walking the walk, not just talking. I'm inspired by Mohanji, who is someone who has built himself up from scratch. We do not have a ready-made path. It's called the path of pathlessness. Appropriately. And I'm inspired by the quote you just beautifully chose by Osho, because it's true. Finding one's own path and actually feeling the depth of that truth resounding in your heart when you know, yes, that click happened, I got it, this is my path and this is my higher purpose. When that happens, then we truly start living. I was somebody who was searching a lot. I was suffering, I went through a war, I went through very big ups and downs of life. So I'm 44 at the moment, but I feel like I lived 144 years, in terms of experience and the travel and the intensity, depth of experience. There's just so much. I'm writing my autobiography now, so hopefully by next year it will be shared. I come from former Yugoslavia. I became a refugee at the age of 14, and that's where I grew up, because there was no more childhood or teenage. Once you are in a situation where you are put down, humiliated, you face hunger, you face complete insecurity of life. You don't know whether your parents will be there for you, whether you have something to eat tomorrow. These are moments of life when you re-examine everything. I also had a near-death experience in the year 99, where I left my body and I was sent back by divine because it was not my time. And I was sent with a powerful message. It's not your time yet. You have not fulfilled your mission. And your mission is to serve the unity. So I feel this was the moment when my path of yoga started. And I haven't I didn't know about yoga at that time, but I started searching, what does it mean to serve the unity? Why am I here? Why was I sent back? And I've never felt the same after that, because once you leave your body and you come back, you know that you are not this body. So right now, most people identify with their body and with their roles in the society. I do not, because I clearly remember that feeling when I was completely expanded. And then how disappointed I was when I came back and looked at my hands and felt reduced back into this kind of matrix that you live in.
Here when you mentioned, then suddenly I remember the word yoga also means when you join two things together. That's also maybe a synonym for the unity.
Yeah.
So you were searching yoga on internet, on computer, and then suddenly how did you introduce yourself to this vast ocean of spirituality?
Okay, well, the way yoga came into my life was very interesting. This near-death experience happened at the year 99. I was working for the United Nations. That was my first job in my life, United Nations. And UN opened the world to me, really widened my horizons. And I felt that diplomacy is my path. I wanted to be somebody who really stands for peace and serves peace. However, when after this near-death experience happened, the next big thing that happened was a conscious astral body travel. At a time when I didn't know I had astral body, I didn't know anything about aura, chakras, none of these things. And that's where I met a beautiful, radiant, powerful yogi in the middle of a desert. And it was a very vivid experience, and I didn't know who he was. And then 4 years later, I received this amazing scholarship for my master's degree in America. And one day in the library, on my way to a restroom, energy tickled me from a bookshelf. And I followed the ray of that energy, and I found this beautiful book with orange cover, and it was Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahamsa Yogananda. And when I opened the book, right on the left side page was this big photo of Mahavatar Babaji. And that's when my path of yoga started. When I read that book, I cried for days, literally. I felt that the answers were for me, that this book was written for me. It gave me all my answers because I cannot find the words to explain how deeply I was searching. When you leave your body and come back, when you go through some really tough experiences of life, your searching is very deep. You dig deep. And for years I waited for answers, and I could not find them in my church, among my friends, in my school, in my books, in my friendships. And then this book came, and it just blew me away. It just totally placed me on my path, and I couldn't wait to get out of America and finish this master's degree. And I was not at all attracted by any of the job offers I got. I was not impressed with any Fulbright speaker or none of it. I even tried to explain to my other friends who also won this amazing scholarship. It's called Peace Studies. We were all from war-affected areas of the world, and we were given this amazing scholarship. And it was really a fascinating experience, but none of them were really interested in what I was saying. And then I realized that they will not resonate because they don't have my background, that they don't understand what I'm not able to convey, how deeply impressed I am by this book. And in that book, Yogananda said that the greatest thing you can do in your life is to find a living master, to find a guru. And that's where I understood the depth of the Sanatana Dharma and the Vedic teachings, the understanding that divine is within. And if you have physically a person who actually embodies Guru Tattva, And to be in the presence of such a person, that this is the greatest achievement, and to then have clarity on why you're here and how divine can express through you. So, I mean, this book gave me all the answers, and somehow the next phase started in Dubai, where I got my first job, and that's where I started going for yoga teacher trainings. I went through different spiritual seminars, this one, that one, you know, I was still searching and searching. And that's
you were searching for the real guru.
Yes.
The guru who will be in the form and shape of a human being. I think,
yeah,
you know, when we discuss about this whole journey, then the first thing which comes to everyone's mind is that this particular question should come in our mind, that we really need a pathway. That is the first stage. Second thing is, when you have this question, definitely there is a quest, there is a search, there is an inner hunger or inner fire which pushes you that you should try to find out, you should try to go through all these different pathways and try to find out which pathway is the correct pathway.
Yes.
And then third thing is, where you reached that finally you realize that this pathway suits better, and maybe I just need a guru who can help me, or who can basically help me to achieve my own God, who is residing in my own body.
Yes.
Yes. So what happened in the next stage then?
Okay, so while living in Dubai, I first went through all the spiritual trainings and stuff, but sincerely nothing really clicked. You know, I was also busy with yoga training, martial arts, salsa dancing, scuba diving. You know, I kind of went through the worldly experience. And Dubai, you know, when you have a good job with a good salary, Dubai is the place, you know, for going out, having fun, having all these experiences. But at some point I realized that I was, with all this intense activity, one after the other, I was filling up a hole. There wasn't real fulfillment, was not happening, you know. And that's where one holistic doctor from Croatia appeared. She had the latest camera for scanning your aura, and she was doing a project of studying how humanity will evolve. So she has this, it's called GDV camera, next level after Kirlian photography. And with this GDV camera, she wanted to scan the auras of masters. So she invited me to join her, to go to India with her, and we would visit different masters, and then she would be doing the study, and her aim was to also scan the aura of Satya Sai Baba. So his was the last stop on this journey. It started with Hira Ratan Manek, who, sun gazing. He doesn't eat food.
Yeah.
He's very famous, and NASA did research on him. And then we visited some other masters as well, and then Devi Yama, and then Satya Sai Baba. So in the end, she did not get a chance to really scan the aura of Satya Sai Baba, but we were there for 10 days, and at that time it clicked. There was experience that Satya Sai Baba came into our room with his astral body, and the whole room lit up. It was full of golden light. And what came to me, like, I was not able to fully enjoy this experience because I was in a semi-state where I saw how one married man was like fantasizing about me, and it's really not my fault. I didn't do anything. It just happened that he found like this vision of ideal woman in me, and because I actually had everything except relationships. There was this feeling of I'm much more mature than my physical body, you know, and what I am physically is not fully matching what I am spiritually, you know, like the depth of spirituality doesn't reflect on my behavior and my looks.
Yeah.
So if you see me as a Western woman, I'm usually very joyous, I like to dance, but that spiritual side is not seen, you know, so relationships were not happening, you know, and I realized that, yeah, the reason why I'm not happy is that I do not have a proper relationship, and I'm not able to find the right partner because I get honestly bored with men who just like, you know, kind of drool after me, or with men who are superficial and take pride in their looks or their money. None of that interests me. So then she said, okay, in the presence of somebody like Satya Sai Baba, why don't you first gain clarity in what you want from your relationships? Because he showed you that when he appeared with his light body in the room, my obstacle was that feeling of incompleteness in terms of relationships. So that took me into deep contemplation. And after a while, I realized that if I'm ever to marry, I would like that husband to be a spiritual master. So when I verbalized this, the next thought that came was, but masters are not available for marrying. They are somewhere in a cave, or they're celibate, or So Dr. Maya, her name was that. She said, "Who said that? Like, everything is possible. Like, you are in the aura of a master now, and I think there are many options. Don't limit your possibilities." So she said, "Why don't you just surrender all this to Sai Baba, and then let him worry about it. You don't have to worry. If you surrender, it's his job."
Yeah.
So I didn't know this was possible, So what I did, I actually wrote it down. So I said, "Dear Baba, if I'm ever to marry, may my husband be also my spiritual master."
If you just don't mind, it happened in which year?
2006.
2006. So it's just 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And the second, I said, I don't care about the color of the skin, eyes, hair, none of this. But, I come from the Balkan region, and kind of feel like strong men. So he should be like strong and a leader and that type, such as just that part. And thirdly, the most important thing is that together we serve the world. We are in sincere, selfless social service together, So that was what I wished for. I wrote this down, and I folded the paper, I surrendered it, and I frankly forgot about it, So 1 year has passed, and it was January 2007. I became a certified yoga instructor, and there was a mega yoga event happening in Dubai for the first time. And that was the time when Mohanji came for this yoga training, simply because he had a bit of lower back pain, and his friend was bugging him, come, this is going to help you, come, you have to come. So Mohanji has been very introverted, and he had very deep inner experiences, and he never liked to be
share those experiences with
he
anyone.
was completely in silence. So when I met him, he was completely in silence. He looked like nothing special, shorter hair, like similar like you now, maybe just a bit of beard was there, and just sportswear, So in terms of looks, you wouldn't have noticed him, but I have felt some energy when I passed by him.
Is that energy called love at first sight?
I honestly forgot about what I asked from Sai Baba.
Yeah.
I was not at all looking for a man. I was not in that energy. I was busy with my yoga training. I had also a job in some Australian company. I had my yoga training. I had all this stuff. So I was not at all looking for a relationship. And this thought was not there. The only thing that happened was that I, just a couple of days before this yoga event, I suddenly decided that I want to find like a smaller team of people who do charitable work, because I want to do hands-on charity and give aid into the hands of
the really people, those who really need.
Feel that energy of social service, because before that I was in a bigger organization, and it was what they called seva was more marketing.
Yes.
So I said no, I want to do actual seva. So that was my thing, and that's where it just so happened that one of my Indian colleagues in this Australian company was part of Amukare Charitable Trust, and he told me about Mohanji. And then the funniest thing ever happened. I said, okay, let me check him out on the website. So I went into Amukare website, I clicked it, and my phone rang. And I was intrigued, so I'm looking at my phone, it's ringing, but nothing is on the screen. So this is impossible, Then I realized, I had a ringtone. It was a Japanese composer, Kitaro, who has more than 100 songs or compositions. It's an instrumental from Kitaro, which is very rare. What happened is that Mohanji chose the same instrumental for his website. So when you click on the website, this music comes. And I thought this was my phone ringing.
Yeah.
This was so strange, this was that weird synchronicity that's a bit too much, So that was the first hint. I call this the Leela of Sai Baba.
Yes.
It's total Leela. It's just impossible. So that was number one. Then this friend said, you have to meet Mohanji, blah, blah, but he forgot to say that he's at this yoga training. So I didn't know that. So when I was at the yoga training, at some point I passed by Mohanji and I felt it's like a wave of energy. And then what I did, frankly, it was really funny. Like sometimes I was on the stage demonstrating yoga asanas and Surya Namaskar and all that. And sometimes I would be correcting people's asanas in the audience. And that time we had like a 5-minute short meditations. If I know the meditation is coming, I just go to that side where this man is, whom I noticed by this energy, and I kind of sit there and then I meditate in that energy. But I didn't know who he was or nothing. So towards the end of the yoga training, everything fell into place, and this colleague introduced me to Mohanji, and I realized it's him. And on top of that, when he kind of looked into my eyes, I felt that I was like, like a scanner goes.
It goes into the body, scans everything, and then finishes the scan.
Yeah, I felt totally scanned, naked kind of, and kind of breathless for a moment. So very strange feeling. And there was no time, we were in a rush. I remember I took his phone number and I wrote Mohan-soulmate. I don't know where that came from. I just I usually put name and something because I meet so many Indian people, I can't keep track. There's so many names. So I always put some explanation. Yeah. And that was the first spontaneous thing that popped out. But I still did not call him or think of him. It was funny. I was too busy, So that's where the funny part came. Sai Baba intervened and he telepathically communicated with Mohanji about me. Yeah. And that was the funny part. So, I mean, he literally saw that I'm so blind, I can't put 2 and 2 together. So then
he has to intervene and he has to tell this to Mohanji.
And I always laugh about it because it's just really funny, if somebody told me that, I would never think this was possible, that somebody like Sai Baba intervenes in your life to bring you your husband, So but then
I think miracle happens.
This was all,
So whatever we discuss, it is definitely a love. It's also a leela of the God.
Yes.
And when all these things happen, then being a scientist, sometimes we don't have any explanation about all these things which happens. We do not have any explanation about that synchronicity. We don't have any explanation about all those things which happens for a reason. But when you see in the end, you definitely see a pattern and you feel whatever has happened in the past, there was a reason behind that. Yeah. But when these things happen, that's why people sometimes they say, enjoy the process rather than the outcome. Enjoy the journey rather than the destination. So I think the description of this love and the Leela, both, I think it was just matching up, and we have come to this particular stage where we can clearly see that this particular Leela was maybe just because of the social service which you are doing at the moment, where you have created a few organizations, those who are doing the real seva work, not only in Europe, they are also doing work in India as well.
Yes.
Now, we will also discuss about various aspects, but in 2007, you created Mohanji Foundation.
No, not at all. At that time, Mohanji was very introverted, quiet. When he went through his, you could say, spiritual awakening process, he took another 6 years to absorb that. He was in silence. Mohanji was not planning to come out and have a global platform and meet people and conduct satsangs and meditations. No, he was exactly the opposite. He was the happiest to be inside. He just something in front of the computer or meditating or something. He's just so happy to be alone. Yeah. To be inside. So it took a bit of time for him to, the key moment was the power purity meditation. So I was blessed to be near him when he kind of received it telepathically, typed it up. Then we both looked at the screen, read, oh, this sounds like a meditation. He even got the instructions on what kind of background music, how many candles to be lit, the whole thing, the full package. fully arrived in a bow, literally. So then he was like, well, what am I supposed to do with that? So
can we?
Yes.
It's a time for the break, and I know that we have endless things to discuss. It's not only about the personal experience or spiritual experience, but definitely we have to talk about the social experiences and the experiments which you have done in the past. So we will continue with the break, after the break, and please follow us on Sky 711 Emma TV on Thames Speaks, and we will be right after the break.
Okay.
Good evening, Devi or Sajjano. We were enjoying the conversation on Thames Speaks on MATV 711 Sky. And the conversation was about the spirituality and the pathway of the spirituality. And our esteemed guest Devi Mohanji, who was explaining about her own pathway, she has been through tremendous amount of experience in this age. She was explaining how her experiences has shaped that she should follow the spiritual pathway. She read books, she finally found a simple pathway, and then we would like to know what actually has happened on that pathway, and did she achieve something, or is that search still going on? So my next question is based on this concept that finally when you reach to this conclusion that this is your pathway, you met Mohanji, you have seen the Leela of Sai Baba, then what did you enjoy on this pathway? Do you really feel that you have achieved something which I think everyone should follow that pathway, or maybe they can work on similar pathway?
Yes, it's very important to have clarity, to be truthful, to be natural, to choose your path really from nothing else but love and awareness. So if somebody chooses the path because the parents think so, or out of fear of God or any other reason but love and awareness, or deep recognition at the soul level, I don't think that is sustainable. Because spiritual path is really like walking the spiritual path with clarity and utmost dedication and consistency requires a lot of maturity. I left my corporate job in 2014, and now I work much more than before. So spiritual path is not like you're on vacation. On the contrary, there's a lot of intensity required, and you really feel that the time you have as a soul and a body, you want to use it to the maximum to achieve the ultimate goal. As I said, for me, it took a bit of time. I was free to go to any seminar, any other guru, any other path, any other yoga, and I did. In Dubai, there's plenty of choices, and I went through different ones until I finally realized that Mohanji has all that I'm searching for. And that realization took time. It didn't happen right away. And Mohanji never imposed, I'm the one for you, or I'm your guru, nothing like that. So the very question, are you my guru? That's the most ridiculous question. It's like, you don't ask that question, because when somebody is your guru, you recognize it very deeply, so there's no need to ask.
I will just add one thing here. Like one of the guru, he famously said one thing, and which I really feel that he has mentioned absolutely an amazing experience. And he mentioned, with me, illusions are bound to be shattered. I am here to shatter all illusions. Yes, it will irritate you, it will annoy you. That's my way of functioning and working. I will sabotage you from your very roots. Unless you are totally destroyed as a mind, there is no hope for you. So I think that's the real rule of the guru, where they destroy the mind, where they destroy all those things which we do not expect. Yes. On that particular pathway. Mm-hmm. So when you reached on this pathway, definitely I agree that Mohanji didn't force himself, or he didn't try to patronize that I am a guru and you need to follow my instructions. But I think that that's the beauty of Sanatan Dharma, where people try to say everyone, they have to find their own pathway.
Yeah.
One of the first Sanatan Dharma, one of the first person who has really democratized the whole, not religion, whole philosophy, like Gautam Buddha. So a famous writer has written a book, Siddhartha.
Yes.
Herman Hesse.
Yes.
And I think you have read that book. He has famously written in that particular book that everyone has to create their own pathway. And so once when you are on that pathway, you cannot share that particular experience or that joy or that the pathway to anyone else. It's not that you don't want to share. You want to share, but sometimes you are unable to share, or maybe you don't have that capability that you can share that pathway to someone else. So, because everyone has to find their own pathway.
Yeah.
So, I think this is also beauty. So, when you reach to this stage with the help of your guru, who is also your partner, and this is an amazing combination created by the Leela of Sai Baba. So, how do you see now in this stage? Do you think that it's really fulfilling? It is your dreams which you had when you were in Dubai or when you were earlier somewhere else. Whatever you thought about life, do you think that all these things are happening now?
Yes. Yeah, I never idealize it. As you said, Guru is there to shatter your comfort zones, your set patterns, your egoistic illusions, So when you are sometimes you take a bit of joy in that comfort zone and he shatters it, you kind of think, oh, you have to be careful what you wish for, Yeah. But these are very brief, momentary illusions of the mind that come. My gratitude for being on this path and to have Mohanji here is in my life is so immense that I could never even measure it or describe it. It's beyond anything I could ever express. Yes, it's true to when you have Guru as your husband, that's like yet even higher level of difficulty, because women, we like to be right sometimes, and if husband is always right, it's very tough.
Maybe I will not be agree with your statement officially, because I always believe the wife is always right, and if she is not right, still follow the rule number 1.
Yeah, so it's not. I cannot say it's easy, Like that would be being dishonest, But it's very rewarding, very expanding, and it definitely brings the highest in me, and that's what's really important. So Guru, it's like being around Guru is being close to the fire. So the moment he takes an opportunity, he will bash the ego, but at the same time he will nurture. That's what is the best in you. So I can only say that after meeting Mohanji, all those good qualities of mine have started to come out more and more.
It is growing.
Yeah.
But did you ever feel that maybe one bad quality has also developed? Do you feel sometimes jealous?
No.
No.
It has been completely taken out of my system. I did. At the beginning, because sometimes women get fascinated by men on the stage, and their radiance, that aura, the tejas, So there were many situations like that. But with time, I really chiseled this out of my system. Initially I had some moments, but now I can really say it's not there. I totally don't own Mohanji as a person. And I completely honor, his space and time, and that the other people should also have a chance to be exposed to that consciousness that expresses through him. So even as a family, our daughter Mila and I, we are not with him all the time. We travel to India, he travels to Europe, we meet in some other countries for retreats, for programs. It's mainly all purpose bound, it's all connected with the purpose. Because when somebody becomes a spiritual master, he's no longer having that personal agenda. He's driven by the higher purpose, and there's very high intensity of activity. So Mohanji describes it as a fan that starts rotating very fast, so you don't even see that there are those little petals of the fan. It's all like one thing. So that's the sattvic state. So you go beyond rajas, you definitely drive out all the tamas, and most people are in the tamas. Comfort zones are tamas, And we now live in the time and age when people are completely drowning in superficiality, lack of spiritual discipline, lack of higher purpose. This is all great fertile ground for tamas. So to come out of tamas, you first need rajas. You can't just like this achieve sattvic state. So that's an illusion. Like, oh, I practice yoga. No, it doesn't mean you're in sattva. Yoga actually, with regular practice, yoga brings us into that energy of sattvic energy, so that you create the higher opportunity for spiritual awakening. But from what I have seen so far, and I've been blessed with like shorter samadhi states, and many things have happened to me so far, I realized that when we do social service, when we do things without expecting anything in return, that also, just like yoga, asanas, and mantra chanting, bhajan singing, and many other things, this all prepares the ground. But the ultimate blessing comes from grace, and grace has to be earned by being selfless and being pure. So that dedication and that constant coming back from your fragmented, distracted state of the mind, back into the center, back into the higher purpose, back into the purity of love and selflessness. This is where we keep the compass. So Guru, Mohanji says beautifully, is the, just showing you the path. It doesn't say this is your destination. He's like a pointer, so on the road sign. So Guru is the road sign, and that road sign brings you back to the right path when you get distracted. And the nature of our mind is that we get distracted, we become slaves to our senses and our pleasures and our comfort zones. And at the soul level, we aim for completion, we aim for liberation. So these are the two ends of the pole that we are kind of churned in all the time. This is the cross of the Jesus, like you are all the time in between these two. And when we see the level of distraction that we go through, especially in today's time and age with so many information, social media, internet, we are bombarded by the information. But then that makes you busy and you don't have enough time to earn the grace. You don't find the time to serve. So that's why we give so much of importance to selfless service. Find the time because this is for your own spiritual bank balance, which is the only bank balance that you have after the soul leaves the body.
I completely agree. I just picked two words. First word is about superficiality. I think people are bombarded with billions and millions of different type of information every day through social media, through conversations, through television, and through radio and other places. But I think no one has got time to go in detail or to check all those facts that are these correct or not.
Yes.
Second thing, maybe people, those who are laymen like me, maybe they want to follow the pathway, but sometime I feel there's a variety of those pathways. So a lot of people, they spend time just to choose the particular pathway rather than walking on that one particular pathway.
And they should, because
yes.
Unless you choose with your free will, it's not your path.
Yes.
As I said, I took the time,
yeah.
But when I chose, now I don't waste it. Now I value it. Now I know I'm 44. I don't know how much more time is left. I better use every day, every moment of my life. On this
pathway.
But until it clicks, you have to search. Because if you choose out of fear or somebody else's opinion, it's very shaky. You're not gonna, once the ego bashing starts, you're not gonna stay. That's what Mohanji says. The moment Guru is not there to, he's not there to please you. He's there to really open the shell for you and show you the path, let you come out of all those illusions, but he's not there to just, hold your cheeks and say, oh, well done, applaud, and just you're great, to pamper your ego. He's not there for that.
I agree.
So that's not.
And I think this is the role of the Guru. Guru is not there to just pamper the ego, but Guru is also someone who will basically break down all those karma which people has acquired in the past, bad karma, and they will help them to clear those karma so people can achieve the higher state. And the second thing is, a lot of people, they miss the reason for being on this planet, and that's higher purpose.
Yeah.
There's a lack of higher purpose. We have a purpose to achieve a name, fame, money, houses, and a lot of things. But I think the one thing which is missing is called higher purpose.
Yeah. And that's why I like clarity with which Mohanji operates. Initially, I thought we are too scattered. We have too many things going on. So I felt like, let's just do one and do it fully. But now I got the big picture. It took me time to understand, because his consciousness is like so wide and vast. And he has created from scratch a platform called Mohanji Foundation. We call it also Mohanji Family. We don't see ourselves as any organization. It's very, very open, modern, trendy, and everyone can find their expression in it. So you have this huge global platform, and then within it, you have so many different groups. So if you join, let's say, Mohanji Foundation and choose this path, and you're artistic, maybe you go to Himalayan School of Traditional Dance, or maybe you will go to Early Birds Club and do something with the kids, or, so if you are more into like social service, then it will be ACT Foundation, Act for Hunger, or Amukare in India. So we have so many different options: corporate, yoga, dance, this one, that one. So depending on what your affinity is, you can fit in there. But all of it is created only for the sole purpose for you to become brave, authentic, fearless, come out in your full potential, come out of tamas, really start walking the path and start adding value to society. This is our key slogan, adding value to society. So,
is that the objective of Mohanji Foundation?
Well, adding value to society and living a liberated existence. Like, I'm not doing anything within Mohanji Foundation to show off, to prove myself, to impress someone. It's called liberated existence. So Mohanji said, live liberated and leave liberated.
Yes.
So moksha, only in India, since the Sanatana Dharma times, Vedic teachings, only in India you talk about moksha. Everybody talks about success, competition, achievement, being successful.
Especially materialistic gains and materialistic achievements.
Yeah.
Yes.
But where is moksha there? Where is the ultimate success?
There are four steps: dharma, artha, kam, and then moksha. Finally that's the moksha.
Yes.
So I completely agree.
Purusharthas.
Yes. And it's sometimes great to hear those things. Especially, I was born in India, but I don't think that it gives me a special privilege on the philosophy which was just traditional in India. Yeah. I think it belongs to the whole humanity. And it's great to hear the same philosophy from a different corner of the world. Maybe a person who was born and brought up maybe in a certain parts of Europe and moved to different places in different countries, and finally we are discussing in London. So that is also something which is fascinating, and it fascinates me also that people can pick up any philosophy from any part of the world, but if they will walk on that, or if they will work on that particular philosophy, definitely they will feel the positive aspect of that philosophy.
Yeah. Now, what I love about this path is, like, let's say you're born in Orthodox Christianity, as I was, or you are Muslim, so this is experiential spirituality. You're not asked to convert. You're not asked to disrespect your parents and your tradition. It's simply, at some point in life, you feel at a deeper level, there is more for me, like there's something that has not clicked. You have the right to upgrade yourself, to reinvent yourself.
Yes.
I became Devi Mohan in 2015. Before that, my name was Bilyana, and some of my friends were like, what are you now, some Devi Mohan? What does this mean? Because I chose, I felt I wanted to change my name. I wanted to really reaffirm that new reinvention of myself, and we all have the right to do that,
Yes.
And finding your spiritual path, finding a guru that embodies the beauty of Guru Tattva, that inspires you, that is there to serve with his own example. He's not there to just sit and give orders. He works every day, much more than we can even understand or think, and showing that higher potential in physical embodiment, it's very powerful. Mohanji says we always like to put the Guru's picture on the wall, frame it with our mind. He fits within my frame, and then I pray to him. But my insecurities, my little minuses, I just hide. While in front of a Guru who is like a living fire, you can't hide any of it. He sees all of it.
I think sometimes when you take out those insecurities in front of a Guru, I think in the fire of the Guru's tejas,
yes.
All these insecurities and small things which you have in your heart will slowly and gradually, it will burn.
Yeah.
As a human being, I see it's a package of all those positives and negatives.
Yes.
The only thing which human being can do is they can try to reduce the negative baggage, and then they can try to grow and enrich their positive baggage. This is how I see the human's journey.
We don't reduce, we transcend, like when you accept, let's say I had this thing of constantly being late, and when I was giving excuses, it's my daughter's fault, it's his fault, it's never going to change. Yes. So when your Guru kind of points it out to you, and you are asked to take responsibility, you accept, I accept I was all the time late. And now I I get ready half an hour earlier. I'm aware that I have this, so I take responsibility to work on it and I do something about it. So it's so the moment we blame someone else, or we blame now our government, or we blame some politician, we always like to blame someone. We are not taking responsibility. So that's why this, instead of criticizing, say, this is something I do not like. I have a suggestion. I would like to propose to do it like this, and I will do this and that. So this Mohanji says, okay, what do you propose, positive action, and what responsibility will you take? Because everybody likes to criticize, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is not right. So Mohanji says, responsibility before rights. Because if we just keep talking about the rights, we're actually losing power. We are not giving that divine expression to come out. You have to be responsible and at the same time love and joy, because this is not some dogmatic group. We also have love and joy, and that's my forte. I love dancing. Everybody knows I laugh a lot. I'm a very joyous person.
But as I said earlier, human being is a package of all those emotions.
Yes.
And we should use those emotions fully. So if we really want to laugh, if we really want to enjoy, we should do it, because after 10-20 years we shouldn't regret that why we didn't do when we were having chance.
Yeah. Can I just give an example? For example, I love dancing, but I'm a vegan, I don't smoke, because we do energy work, I'm sensitive to energy. I can no longer fit into this disco clubs, pubs, and this kind of environment. It just doesn't suit me. So at one point I was like, instead of complaining, I created something called conscious dancing. It just, in Mohanji's presence, it flowed through me. I kind of just wrote it down, and we had a retreat, and I presented it, and people loved it. And now we have festivals where we have this conscious dancing. Everybody loves it. It takes you into bliss state, that the secret of movement with awareness within is also part of yoga. It's very powerful. So
I would like to add one more thing here. You are promoting subconscious dancing, but I can see the
not subconscious, conscious.
Sorry, conscious dancing. But the world, and especially the places which you mentioned, they are promoting subconscious or unconscious dancing.
Unconscious.
So that's why, because they don't have anyone who can do that. That's why they sell different type of chemicals. So people will be subconscious or unconscious, and they will do that.
Yeah, but this is the beauty of it. Like when they experience conscious dancing once, you literally feel like you had, I don't know how many glasses of wine, or you smoked, I don't know what. The amount, for hours and hours after conscious dancing, people feel this high frequency energy, which is like so fulfilling. And you can't stop laughing. You're so full of energy, you're full of joy. You feel alive in every cell of your body. And this is what you've been searching for. You just didn't know how to get there, so you were drinking. But you don't have to intake any chemical or anything to stimulate you from the outside. Everything is within. This is the Vedic teaching. Everything is within. We just need to know how to tap into it. You know? That's the thing.
My next question is, healing has become a very popular word, especially in the Western world. And energy, especially positive energies, negative energies, dark energies, or cosmic energies, or aura, all these words are also very popular. I know you do Maitri method, you follow it, you are also instructor, and you also help other people healing. Being a layman, I really want to understand how it works. Can you just tell me quickly about Maitri method?
Okay, so number one, I'm not a healer, I'm an instrument of healing. Healing doesn't happen from outside, it happens from the person. So you can only say if a healing happens at all, it's self-healing, because you just brought somebody into a state where they can experience self-healing. So that's why we don't say we are healers and we heal you. And the only thing that's really sets Maitri apart is that we have a living guru with whom we connect. So we have a way to connect through the inner eye, third eye, and then the energy comes through the spine and the hands, and we simply don't have attachment to the result. There is no ego involvement, and we have one key to enter the causal layer. So causal body is where the seeds of painful impressions are stored, and that is cleansed, and then you feel like 10 kilos lighter. But we have one rule: we do not touch prarabdha karma. We do not touch the destiny aspect of karma, because there are certain of those seeds, and as well as manifested impressions and manifested illnesses that are part of prarabdha karma. So we have a way of saying, I'm passing on the energy, I'm an instrument, but I do not touch this part, because that's like playing God. You know, that you do not have the right. That's why if you come to me and say, I have, I don't know, arthritis.
Yeah.
Now, I cannot tell you, is this arthritis part of your prarabdha karma or not? I can just say, I cannot make any promises. I'm certainly going to pass the energy, and let's see what comes out.
Yes.
So we don't make big promises, but so far, there's not been a single person who was not happy with the Maitri session.
We will definitely experience. There are a lot of things which we can discuss about the activities, about the social services, Acts Foundation or the Mohanji Foundation which they are doing in London. But one thing is sure from this conversation which I have learned from Devi Mohanji is a good head and good heart are always a formidable combination. But when you add to that a literate tongue or pen, then you have something very special. So I felt that something very special, and I can see the aura and the tapas and the tejas. I really believe that in future you should do more social service, you should help other people to enlighten. My wishes are with you. Thank you very much for joining us today in the studio, and we will definitely have conversation about various aspects in future, and wish you best of luck, Mohanji.
Thank you, Jadarji. I hope that this will, people will find this inspiring to find their own path and express the authentic divine within.
Thank you, and have a good night, and we will see you next Thursday on MATV Sky 711 on Thames Speaks.